Cautious excitement. I'd say that is a very good word for the upcoming Galaxy Unpacked event for the Note 20 series. Hey there people, how you doing? So, today, let's talk about what we can expect from the launch event for the Note 20 series tomorrow. And yes, a lot of things have already become pretty clear about the devices. It's gonna be two Notes first and foremost. We have the Note 20, the regular one, and the Note 20 Ultra. Or is it gonna be Note 20 Plus? I'm gonna go with Ultra, it'll match the S20 Ultra at least. Anywho, let's talk about design. And there is some really good news in that regard, because we will finally get a matte finish. And as many of you already know, I am a terrific fan of matte finishes. And let me tell you, the matte Mystic Copper or Mystic Bronze finish that we have on the Note 20 series, it's the best thing I've ever seen. But enough about that finish, what about the camera module? It's still rectangular like the S20 series, and although I wasn't a huge fan of that design in particular, but I really think that the Note 20 camera module looks pretty sick. I'm honestly digging it, but yeah, I don't know the exact reason or as to why I'm digging a rectangular camera module on the Note 20, while I really didn't like the ones in the S20, but all I can tell you, the way the cameras are arranged, there is this vertical symmetry that when put together, it looks really nice, in my opinion at least. And I think we can all thank God that we won't be getting the 100x space zoom plastered on the back of the device. Now of course, we will have a really thick camera module because of the ball or camera hardware, especially on the Note 20 Ultra, and yes, wobbles on the table is gonna be a problem. But I'm honestly used to it, because well, there's almost no flagships in 2020 that don't have a super thick camera module that causes a ton of wobble on the table. I mean, everyone's used to this by now, I guess. So yes, I do have a really good feeling about that design, and I do believe it's going to be damn impressive. Now this is only for the Note 20 Ultra, but when it comes to the Note 20, the regular one, yeah, there might be a little bit of a problem there, because as rumors suggest, we won't be having a glass back. Rather, we'll be having glass stick, which is actually a blend of glass and plastic, as well the name suggests, but it won't be as premium, nor will it be as scratch resistant as actual glass. Now, I personally feel like this is kind of a bad decision on Samsung's part, because when you think about it, we all associate the Galaxy Note name with a very premium, ultra high priced, and the best device that Samsung produces every year. And using glass stick, which is obviously not the most ideal material to be used to produce a premium flagship, it might have a problem. But one thing that I can be sure of is that there is going to be a little bit of a price cut, because, well, we're not using the best materials, so obviously the price won't be as high. Next up, for the display, we shall be getting a super large 6.9-inch 1440p 120Hz display on the Note 20 Ultra, with, of course, a punch out for the selfie camera. And as per rumors, we should be getting a curved display, hopefully one exactly like the S20 series, because that curve was a perfect balance between form and function, and also a slightly smaller punch hole cutout as well. And of course, that isn't where it ends. The 120Hz on the Note 20 will be dynamic, which means that it'll be superbly efficient, and we might, I'm not saying it'll happen, but we might be able to use 120Hz with 1440p. So all in all, the display on the Note 20 Ultra looks to be pretty amazing. But the regular Note, yeah, it's a different story on that one. For the specs, it's gonna be a 6.7-inch display, it's gonna be a flat display, that's right, not curved. And finally, it's also gonna be 1080p at 60Hz. And that is where things get slightly disappointing, because let's admit it, even though the Note 20 will be priced slightly lower, having 60Hz, that's really not the way a flagship should be. As for the flat display that it's got, now look, I personally don't really like flat displays so much. I'm more of a curved display guy. But yeah, I can understand why they're making that decision, and also why it would be a good decision in fact. So till now at least, I'd say the Note 20 Ultra feels pretty dandy, huh? But yeah, let me assure you, that is not going to be the case for very long. For some people at least, because now we are going to talk about performance. Now, of course, for all the people living in US, China, and even South Korea, I think, they shouldn't have a problem, but for everyone else, we will be getting the same underpowered, inefficient Exynos 990 in both the Note 20 and the Note 20 Ultra. Oh boy, this is so sad. I mean, wow, I did not expect this one, but you know what sucks even more? Is the fact that maybe the Note 20 Ultra will be getting the Snapdragon 865 Plus. Wow. I mean, instead of bridging the gap, they're just extending it now. I have no idea why it's happening. Now, I have just this one tiny sliver of hope because there were these kind of distant rumors about an Exynos 992 chipset that kind of fixes the problems with the Exynos 990. But as far as I can see, it would appear that it's not gonna happen. I mean, it could, but we'll know for sure tomorrow. Now, this is like the very reason why I'm cautiously excited. It's because if Samsung is able to fix the issues we had with the chipset earlier, then sure, the Note 20 series will be amazing in every sense of the word. But if they don't do that and rather go the route of Exynos 990 and Snapdragon 865 Plus, well, yeah, it's going to be a disaster. I can tell it's going to be bad. The rest of the specs will also be displayed on your screen. And yes, I do believe we'll be getting an SD card slot in the Note 20 Ultra, while the Note 20 is going to skip out on that one. I think it's going to be very similar to what happened with the Note 10 series last year. Moving on, of course, the Note 20 and the Note 20 Ultra wouldn't be Notes if they didn't have an S Pen, right? And yes, we do have some minor improvements here. We should be getting a few extra features like we can use the S Pen as a pointer for whatever reason. And secondly, there's also going to be a huge load of latency reduction, especially for the Note 20 Ultra. We should be getting around 9 milliseconds of response time, and that is pretty damn impressive if you ask me. As for the cameras, well, it's going to be very similar to the S20 Ultra for the Note 20 Ultra, and when we come for the Note 20, the regular one, there, it should be very similar to what we have on the S20 or maybe even the S20 Plus. Now, a major addition alongside the 108 megapixel main sensor, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and 5x periscope zoom camera is going to be the laser autofocus sensor. It should, in theory, fix the problems we had with the 108 megapixel sensor on the S20 Ultra. It had, well, I'd say terrible autofocusing issues, and yeah, I'm really hoping that they can fix it with this laser autofocus system. The Note 20 on the other hand should have a 12 megapixel sensor along with a 12 megapixel ultra wide and a 64 megapixel camera for zoomed in images or for cropping in, I'd say. So the camera specs do look pretty neat on the Note 20, and it would also appear that the autofocusing should in theory be fixed. But how will it perform overall? That is a different story altogether. So definitely hit that subscribe button because we will be coming up with a number of camera comparisons with all the different phones we have in the studio, mostly flagships. Now finally, for the batteries, we should be getting about 4500 mAh for the Note 20. But for the Note 20, we should be getting a pretty sizable 4300 mAh battery, I guess. And for charging, it's going to be very similar to what we had in the S20 series, with 25 watts charger included and capability up to 45 watts as well. I kind of wish that the Note 20 Ultra would at least include a 45 watt charger, but it seems unlikely. Now, how the Note 20 series' battery perform? That, let me tell you, is a very interesting question because we don't have an answer unless we actually test it out and see for ourselves how badly the Exynos 990 will perform in terms of efficiency. I guess it all depends. Well, if you get the Snapdragon version, then definitely you'll get amazing battery life. But for the Exynos variants, I really can't say. I'm really hoping that $1,200 is the actual price tag, not $1,400, but for the Note 20, there I'd say we'll be getting around $1,000 because last year for the Note 10, it came about $200 cheaper than the Note 10 Plus, and I'd say the similar thing will happen, maybe even a little bit more because of the plastic situation that we have there. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do hit that like button, and I will be seeing you guys later. Cheers.